Casey Hildreth.
Mike Glover.
Where does the last name Hildreth come from? What is that?
Wow. Did you intentionally mispronounce it? Hildreth. No. I traced it back when I was a kid because I was interested in that stuff. I think it's English, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But what is a Glover were a bunch of former Scandinavian glove makers.
Oh, there you go.
Like Iron Maiden chained glove makers.
Hildreth, we were probably hill conquerors. Probably.
Where's the Rith come from?
It's just an add-on to church it up. You don't want to. People just think it's like Hill. Well, which is also a good name. No offense to anybody, but
Casey's decent. That's a good name.
I like that name. I didn't like it when I was a kid, but
it's gender neutral,
which is important these days, apparently.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Can we say that? Are we allowed to do that?
We can say anything we want.
So you're a former fifth group guy. I won't hold that against you.
Allegedly,
the fifth group has a lot of cool history.
Yeah, they do.
The coolest flash on a Green Beret is the fifth group flash. Let's be honest.
100%. When they changed it back to the Vietnam era one.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Oh, they did do that?
Yeah, sure did. One of the commanders made it a point to do that.
Interesting. I was like 10th group. I was in 10th group for a period of time in third group. I hated the third group flash because it was African colors.
Yeah.
And we were always in the Middle East. And I'm like, I don't understand what this is.
I like that flash. I think it's snazzy.
Is it?
It's probably, yeah. Outside of the Vietnam era fifth group flash, it's probably my favorite one.
I always thought it was weird being an Asian in a third group African missioned group and then being in the Middle East.
How did you not get first group? I'm not trying to whatever. I'm not trying to corner people. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. But predominantly Asian people go to first group.
Not many people know this part of the story because it's like a very deeply seated nuance. It doesn't matter. But when I went to the Q course, I was not an active duty guy. I didn't tell anybody that, but on orders, I had basically somehow, because back then it was like paper orders.
Yeah.
You didn't have electronic system, and there was no checks and balances. Like I told the story where I changed 18 Echo, which is Camo, and literally wrote a B standing in line at SWIC before they said, hey, Echo's over here, Bravo's over here. They said, check your orders. I looked at my orders. It said 18 Echo. I panicked. I wrote a B, and I stood in the Bravo line hoping to God that I would just get through, and I got through.
Let's be honest. Had you gone through the Echo course, you would have wound up at Bravo anyway. That's
because I would have rolled back.
Oh yeah, for
100%,
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't have done that. So I went through as I think I was a 20th group guy, but I wasn't. I had never like showed up to a guard thing.
Yeah.
Because I transitioned from active duty, was in the guard, and then said, "Hey, I want to go to selection." So they said the fastest way is actually going through the guard. If you make it, just go to the Q course and then transition to active duty.
Gotcha.
So at that time period, apparently it's not that easy now because this was like early GWAT. They didn't have a system for it. And so they were just letting people do that. When I graduated the Q course, I could have went to any group I wanted to. And I decided, like I asked around and got the G2, the intel from the guys, and was like, hey, who's going to war? And I found not only the group that was going to war, but the battalion. Like I shopped the battalion, and they were going to Afghanistan. I was like, I want to be on that first thing smoking. And so I changed my orders again.
Yeah.
I did some shady stuff.
I was actually assigned to third group out of the course, and I swapped with Jimmy Doteal was his name. If you're out there, Jimmy, thanks.
Because you could do.
I wanted to go to fifth group.
You could do group swaps.
Yeah, but you had to have somebody to replace. They're like, if you can find somebody that wants to. So I think his name was Jimmy, and we swapped, and I ended up going to fifth group. And at graduation, I can't remember who the regimental commander was at the time, but we all gathered around after the thing, and he's like, who's going to first group, third, seventh, 10th? And then at the end, he goes, where are my Patriots? And I was like, okay, I chose well. I felt
interesting.
Yeah, it was
because he's a former fifth group guy.
Yeah, Yeah, he was.
I
can't remember his name.
I just did a quote for a book. John Stryker Meyer texted me, which is funny. Hey, this summer you can help Black Rifle Coffee and the Boot campaign raise $1 million for veterans. All you need to do is grab a can of ready-to-drink coffee from your local grocery or convenience store from May 31st to August 31st. Every can of ready-to-drink coffee you buy will contribute to making this massive donation possible. Thanks, guys. Like, when most people text me, I'm like, they're texting me, no big deal. When John Stryker Meyer texts me, I'm like a little fangirl. I'm like, John texted me.
Okay, so.
And because these guys were our heroes growing up. I mean, I wanted to be a Green Beret because of MACV-SOG.
Yeah.
Right. I read John Plaster's Secret Commandos, all those. I still have all those books. But Dick Thompson, Medal of Honor recipient. Did he get the? I want to say he got the Medal of Honor, and I apologize if I don't remember.
We need Jamie.
There was a controversy.
Yeah.
That he got.
I'm not familiar with this.
The DSC, and then I think it got upgraded later. Whatever. Anyways, he's a MACV-SOG guy. He lives in Utah, and I wrote a quote for his book, which is really cool. It was an honor. But back in the day, 5th group was like one of the original groups, right? 10th group, 5th group.
You're putting me on the spot here with history. I think 5th group stood up in the 80. No, I'm sorry.
Had to be 70s.
No, at Fort Campbell. So they moved.
Oh, yeah.
They actually designated them to Fort Campbell. I don't know.
Are you about to make some stuff up?
No, I'm not. I'm kind of embarrassed that I don't know this.
It's hard.
I've left all of it behind, man, honestly.
There's a lot of stuff.
I lean forward. Speaking of books, I'm going to use this to plug my book. I have a book coming out on June 5th that's called More Prepared. So if you guys want to check that out.
That's interesting because my book comes out June 6th called Prepared.
Right. We're doing my book release party the 5th, More Prepared, and then your book.
Are you doing it at Fieldcraft HQ?
Is the title Just Prepared? Because mine's more prepared.
Barely Prepared, I think, is my book.
I mean, I didn't want to say it. But.
Or prepped. Yeah. What a journey in writing a book.
Yeah.
We were listening to Jack Carr on the way back from San Bernardino.
Jeez Louise, bro.
And it was funny. We were laughing about Jack Carr wrote my foreword. No, my preface. And he wrote that, and then Ray Porter did the voice for the Audible, and it sounds so. It reads and sounds so damn good. It's embarrassing when you get to me talking.
Now let me tell this story. As we're listening to it, this is the first time you had listened to it, right?
Yeah.
So as we're listening to it, Jack Carr, one of the most eloquent pieces I was fired up after I heard this.
It makes you
and Ray Porter, come on. And I look over at you and I'm like, bro, you have to follow that. It's like,
I'm like, to her.
Hi, I'm Mike Glover.
You want to be prepared?
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Oh my God, it was embarrassing.
No, but that's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's good.
They're both great.
And Jack Carr's working on a nonfiction book.
Right.
We heard that. Oh, we heard it on Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
And he said he's doing a nonfiction book about Beirut and Lebanon.
Right.
And the travesty, all the information that came out. Not a lot of people understand that. 307 people died. I think it was 260 service members were killed.
Right.
And it's like nobody even talks about it. I would love to do a nonfiction book on MACV-SOG. How bad ass would that be?
That would be sick. You'd have to do take some research and some.
It would, but that's what excites me. Not the actual book. I mean, the book is cool. That's like the end result. The journey and process of getting all the stories and the information and telling that story profoundly. I want that made into a movie.
We were talking about, it's probably been like 2 years ago, but we were talking about doing, I don't know where we're at on this project, doing a documentary on the ICTF and the commandos in the early days of the Iraq War. I think that would be.
We want to do it, but it's like every time I go through the State Department and try to find out what's going on. Now, if you've seen the news, and you know this too, they're killing ISIS like every day in Iraq.
They are getting it on.
Yeah, with Americans. I mean, with American commando units. This is open source. You can find it online. Yeah. I thought that war was long gone. Well, that begs up an interesting point. We could talk about this a little bit because we heard it on the podcast yesterday. In Baghdad, which both of us have been, I've been there. I did 5 trips to Iraq. We have a good relationship with Iraq.
Yeah,
we have the appropriate amount of support, but not too much, but just enough. And it is a very strategic location to affect counterterrorism and national defense.
Yeah,
geographically, like all the things, especially regionally. And then you take Afghanistan. We had that in Bagram. And so the model should have been, we keep a foothold in Bagram similar to what we have in Iraq, where one, the best part of it is we're keeping our soldiers, we're keeping our military sharp. The guys at the tip of the spear are doing joint and unilateral operations to support a coalition of elements to protect their national security and our national security interest. And we gave that up in Afghanistan. Like what? The same place that the entire global war on terror began in the hills of the Hindu Kush. Like we just gave that up.
I don't even know where.
And everybody's good with that.
Yeah, well, our community isn't, obviously, and there's a lot of people that aren't okay with that. But that's like it's completely out of our control. The powers that be are corrupt and self-serving and filling their own pockets, and that's just the nature of things right now. You know,
it's sad, man.
It's super sad.
I really think we should be in Bagram and occupying that battle space. And people are like, "Well, we needed to pull out." Guys, we haven't pulled out of Italy. Like since World War II. I don't know if you remember this, but we weren't just at war with Japan and Germany. Italy was on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
We had a that cracked that whip on the Italians because they were part of that axis of evil back then. And we occupied that location and started the 173rd Airborne Division and had a presence, which we still have today, all over Eastern Europe. So the idea that we would just pull out completely and say the Taliban is obviously going to sort this horse, it's disappointing. And I know it sucks to talk about. But.
Yeah, it does suck to talk about. But that model worked, and then we're just like, well, that works, so let's do something different. I don't know, whatever. I'm over it.
Did you come from a military family?
My dad was in the National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And
what did he do in the Guard?
He was 11 Bravo.
Oh, cool.
In the Guard. So pretty wild story about that. So my dad absolutely adored my mom, didn't want to go to Vietnam, joined the National Guard. Mm-hmm. But his action story, if you will, he was there at Ole Miss when they desegregated Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. And
Ole Miss, the university?
Yeah, University of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Wild, man. They were issuing live ammo on the way to campus. It was like the story, that part of history of my state, he was part of that, you know.
As a guardsman.
As a guardsman, yeah. But it was just like the social climate back then, the way that he would tell those stories and capture that, man. It was really cool. But like I said, I think the key to the story is like his relationship with my mother, and he didn't want to leave, you know, he didn't want to go. So, and I try to live up to that, you know. I try to share love and treat people with respect like he did. He was an incredible human being, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he pass away?
Yeah, he did. He passed away in 2009. Sure did.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about something brighter.
Yeah, geez. Why are we keep going down these?
Your beautiful wife, who's a lot better than you are.
Come on.
She is just a rock star.
Amen, dude.
Erica's a rock star.
100%.
She's also Miss Kentucky. I don't know how you landed that. I'd figure you'd be with, like, I don't know, Miss
Trailer.
Miss Alaska.
No, she's a nice lady, though. I've met her.
Have you?
Yeah, very nice lady.
I don't know. I can't even, like, maybe not even a state, maybe like a
county fair winner.
Yeah, county fair winner.
I'll give you that. I do. Yeah, 100%.
Miss Amador County.
Woo.
Yeah, 1976.
Actually, Erica was Miss Barron County, so technically.
Oh, that's how you scale up?
Yeah, she scaled up, and I just kind of fell in. I know I saw it. Don't move.
Are you into spiders? Because that thing's that literally is about to climb on your foot.
I'm gonna ignore it.
Oh, I like your vigilance. Miss Kentucky. She's been Miss Kentucky for how many years now?
Wow, she was Mrs. Kentucky when we met. Stop, dude. There's a chapter in More Prepared about spiders, in case you guys are. There's not in. Prepared.
Joanne, do you see that spider right there?
Yeah, freaking out.
Stop, dude.
There's another one. Are we?
We are being overrun.
Joanne, there is one on your toe. Seriously. It's crawling on the. No, it's on the tape. It's on the tripod behind her. Just kidding. If Jess was down here, she would be freaking out right now.
Speaking of Erica and spiders, gone. She would be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You lost your train.
I feel like we're surrounded.
We are.
I feel like there's one crawling. There's one literally on Joanne's shoulder.
Stop, dude. Joanne's like, no. Did you see the speed that John?
Oh, John.
He dropped it into the cables.
There's a baby right there by Yoshi's foot. It's a baby spider.
We're editing all of this shit out.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't have to.
Miss Kentucky, how do you? I know I'm not speaking on behalf of your wife, but how do you wind up competing as a representative of the state in a pageant? Like, what is the process behind that?
My God,
you're living that life as a pageant dad.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am living that life, 100%. So I think the system that she competes in, the system actually asked her to be Mrs. Kentucky again. So
is that a USA?
United States of America is the system. What? I don't want to mess. Dude, this is serious. I could get in trouble for this.
You are literally going to get
if I mess any of this up. Yeah, I'm.
You're the spouse of Miss Kentucky. You're Mr. Kentucky. Is that how it works?
Technically, I should. Yeah, I should get a cape or something.
You should get a sash. You should get a sash. And just mess with and pull out your pocket and just put it on when you take pictures.
When she does it?
Yeah.
Dude, she carries it like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, because
in a case.
It has its own
It's a big deal.
And yeah, it is a big deal. But when she puts it on, I'm just like, we're doing this right now? Okay.
You're like, we're in Bennigan's, babe.
Yeah, I know. We'll show up to just like, we're going to. She's like, I've got a thing I've got to go to today or whatever. And
you don't know.
I have no idea. So
and then
we're
she's
just
like,
riding down the road. Ding. I'm like, okay, so this is why we're in here and doing this.
She gave one of her crowns to my daughter.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
And my daughter, like, when she sees that thing, she's like, her eyes get wide. And it's like,
no, dude. That, you know what? That is the great part about it is like she has the opportunity to do so much good. And she does, man.
Especially with the community, man.
Yeah,
she's really involved in that.
Caring, empathetic, understanding human being. Obviously, she has to be dealing with my ass. But, but no, she does so much good for the community. She raised $22,000 for Kentucky veterans last year.
That's really cool.
The Resilience Rook, which we're doing again.
Yeah. When are you doing that?
That is on the first weekend in November.
Yeah.
Black Rifle sponsored us last year. Fieldcraft sponsored us last year.
Talk to us about this Resilience Rook program. What is this thing?
So it stemmed from Erica's father passed away as well, Barry. And he dealt with...
my dad's name is Barry.
Really?
That's her dad's name?
Yeah. You guys are the same. You guys share a lot of characteristics.
We literally could be brother and sister.
I swear to you, because you it's like I have to take care of you.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where you're at most of the time. And she's the same way.
Yeah. Dementia.
Yeah.
From working so hard.
That's literally, she is constantly working.
Just focused.
Man. Yeah, dude.
At Overland Expo, she put a lot of effort and focus into that. I was like, I felt bad, like shaking hands and saying hello and how are you doing and listening to people. That's easy, but staying engaged and processing stuff and and just customer service and everything. The team went all out. That was pretty
100%. Well, I mean, honestly, she's as passionate about this as the company as I am, because I mean, we're literally helping people every day. We're educating people every day.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not trying to like blow smoke up our own butts or anything, but we're doing good things.
Yeah, we see it. It's a lot of people perceive the things that we do based on social media, and so they're like, so it's like if you say, "Oh, is Bud Light making impact on the world?" You go to their social media and you go, "Nope," but you go to an event at Fieldcraft Survival. We just came back from San Bernardino, and people are like, that changed my life. And you're like, I'm glad.
Yeah, man.
But it like I have a student in San Bernardino. He's the guy who kind of hung around at the very end. He's trained with me now 6 times. And the first time he trained with me, there's 2 of those guys that were there for N level 2. And both of those guys have lost, one of the guys lost over 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And is fit. Now he's working on building muscle and his skill sets and confidence from the person, which I remember who he was on day 1 of just flat range work. I mean, most of the stuff Fieldcraft does is not flat range related, but just an experience. He's come back and he's a different human being.
Yeah.
And seeing that that shift and then having people like your wife Erica involved in it is really cool to see.
Well, it's because with all of us,
it's a family business.
It's a family business, and it comes from an authentic place with everybody.
Yeah,
we're not in it for the. It's our purpose is to make this country better.
Yeah, like our media team right now in the room. You know, John and Joanne, husband and wife team, and their son Yoshi. I mean, our new media guy.
Yeah, exactly.
They brought their teenage son over from Asia, and now he's doing the thing.
He brought his lights in off of the car.
Yeah,
to light the studio.
Hey, he's making things happen.
Sacrificing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Yoshi's good peoples, man.
He is good people. I'm excited to have him on the team.
John's son.
I will say this. I will give Yoshi this. I asked John. I was like, "Hey, he's like, he works hard, bro.
Of course,
never complains.
He's a park.
I was like, just give him.
As a member of the Park family, that's an expectation.
I was like, just give it time. He'll complain.
Yeah, I think she gets that work ethic from Joanne, though.
100% comes from.
Yeah, she definitely gets. He definitely gets his looks from Joanne, not John. Let's be honest.
He's
handsome
fella.
Handsome fella. Good hair too. Good hair.
I mean,
yeah. Let's talk about this book release party, because the book already released by the time you hear this, like yesterday, and Friday we're going to be in Kalispell, Montana, to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, the following Friday we'll be in Kalispell.
Yeah. Well, no. By the time this drops,
I don't understand the business.
You don't understand. This is filmed in 2017.
I would like to say this though. Do you even know what day it is? You probably don't. Like day of the week, you probably don't know what day it is. I
don't know what the day of the week today is, but I know when this drops and all the activations of that. But I couldn't tell you what year it was.
Right. It takes both of our levels to create this genius.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You'll be teaching one of our first tactical courses in Kalispell, Montana.
Pistol.
Yeah, we teach personal security there.
And then you and Andy and JT are doing a
leadership
seminar.
And we're doing a preparedness seminar and a book release party and a personal security class.
Yeah. Do we have enough coverage for that? Do we have enough people?
I think so.
I think we got it covered.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Erica's going, so
yeah,
we just put her against whatever.
Whatever. You just got to move the pieces.
Yeah.
I'm most excited about the book release party and BlackRifleCoffee in Kalispell, Montana.
Yeah.
Like selfishly, because we can. Andy Stump is a good friend of ours, but his BlackRifleCoffee is very different.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
It's Casey Hildreth's personal perspective on that is the community there in Kalispell, the people.
Huge. The people are great.
And that space and the people on staff are fostering that.
Yeah.
It's a warm, welcoming space. And I mean, you see an entire cross section of America in there within an hour,
Yeah.
and it's constantly full.
And it's a destination for tourism and stuff, but it's like most of the Black Rifles I've been to across the country are in spaces that are like in a busy area.
Yeah.
This almost seems like it's a destination.
Yeah.
Like people come there and they're coming there for, hey, I want to stop by Andy's place.
Yeah.
It's a cool experience. Every time I go there, I'm like, dude, this is pretty insane.
And sometimes Andy's sitting in there and you can walk up and he'll make fun of you and, make you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Call you a couple names.
He'll yell at you and make fun of you, and then, he'll give you a coffee, though.
Yeah.
And then you walk away.
Cleared hot nitro brew.
That is good.
Let me tell you something, son.
Yeah, you can't
0 to 100 in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, anal leakage, all the things.
Well, that's you.
Oh, that's most people. Yeah, you have an indigenous stomach.
Goat gut.
Goat gut. That's one of my favorite Black Rifle coffees, I'll say, and I'm a little biased, but I like the fact that they also have Montana swag that's related to Black Rifle stuff, and they have the biggest Fieldcraft setup.
Yeah, it's like a retail space it's a mini Fieldcraft retail space in there,
We
and
actually
they sell a lot of our stuff.
A lot of first aid stuff we're moving out of that
A lot
place.
of medical stuff. Yeah,
Because if you're in Montana and you don't pay attention to first aid, you'll just die.
yeah, 100%. Or I think we referenced that when we were in San Bernardino. It's like people hunting in Montana. It's like, well, if I said that in Montana, everybody raise their hand. But I was like, yeah, because they have to.
Yeah.
Because they'll die.
Looking for a quick and easy way to grab your favorite Black Rifle coffee roast? Well, you could find America's Coffee on the shelves of your local Walmart. Stock up on your favorite roast as well as several Walmart exclusives you can't find anywhere else. No need to worry about waiting for shipping or having to drive all the way across town to find your favorite Black Rifle coffee roast. Whether you're filling up for an early morning hunt or just need a pick-me-up during a busy day, stop by Walmart and grab a bag of Black Rifle coffee today.
Are the more difficult things to comprehend and train.
100%.
That one moment in which you're there and it's between you, your eyes, the pistol, and the target, that's the easy part in technical proficiency to gain. And they saw it.
Right.
I think it's really cool because we did, for the first time, I did a level 2 where it's carbine or pistol, and you had both the variations. Yeah. But we had a lot of law enforcement officers out in the range.
Right.
San Diego, we had a lot of Central Valley guys. We had Redlands, San Bernardino. And according to one of the Redlands SWAT guys, Esteban, who's our buddy out there, San Bernardino, the town, or I guess it's a city, has the highest per capita murder rate in the country. And if you remember, San Bernardino was where those two jihadists trying to get their jihad on, and San Bernardino and some regional officers responded to that, and it was actually a joint terrorism task force. Like, these guys were on the list, like these were terrorists, and they had that whole interaction. I think it was 2009.
I'm not sure. I heard you guys talking about it. I wasn't familiar with the incident. I guess I just completely, but talking to those
husband
guys
and wife
team,
to it,
right?
Husband and wife team.
So let's address the significance of that incident and I don't want to call it the probability, but the possibility of something like that occurring again, considering our current border situation. You want to talk about that? You want to get weird for a second?
Yeah, people ask us all the time, like, what's taking place in our society, and a lot of the things that people see have to deal with social deconstruction, and you could go back to the origin stories of Marxism and all the issues. Like, if you're a Marxist and you don't believe in institutions and family units, and that's your ideology, sure, you can go back and reference that, and you could look for proof of that.
Right.
Most of the things that I focus on are the tangibles, the things that are proven through statistics that are happening right now, like drug overdoses. I believe right now we're at 70,000 fentanyl overdoses this year, and we are nearly halfway through it. And last year was 100,000+. I think it was between 100 and 110,000, depending on what statistic you track. But it's been a bump year over year.
Oh, of course.
The Surgeon General just came out again, and I hate quoting the Surgeon General because I don't trust the government in most of these things, at least their intent. But even the Surgeon General has said social media via the peer-reviewed studies have shown 50+% increases in things like depression and anxiety and teenage suicide and all the mental health issues that we're facing. So when you take that and you kind of collectively lump it together, violence and extremism are ripping this country apart, and they will continue to do that. Then you take foreign adversaries, and they're looking for opportune times to exploit. Man, you have a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that from a place of fear mongering. What I'm saying is like build your communities, build your team, build your family, and that's what we're about. And I hate that the market is so healthy for us right now because it's driven by a lot of that stuff. People are seeing, maybe I should get prepared. Maybe I should learn how to harvest my own food. Maybe I should learn how to, live in the woods for a couple of days. Maybe I should buy water or have a food storage of 2 weeks, all of these things. But the socioeconomic situation is driving that. And we're a resource for that. So, but we're also a resource for connection. Like all of those guys at the class, so like we told them, it was like, hey, connect, stay engaged with each other. You have common ground here. And ultimately the training is just a vehicle for that. It's a vehicle for connection to our communities and to have those communities come together over common ground. Like you can establish that commonality through anything, but stay connected. Make a plan. Hey, if this goes down, can we come to you or you come to us or we link up here in Xville? Yeah, that's what it's all about, honestly. Like the training, shooting to canning and jarring. It's great, and it's a granular level part of the whole solution. The solution is coming together and having a plan. And that movement, though, if we do that, that's going to weave the country back together. These pools of examples of how to live and be a good person and care about your community starts rippling out. It's going to be a grassroots movement that fixes all of this, I feel like.
Yeah, I hope we're making some profound impact in that, but I see a lot of different people doing similar things, bringing people together, and that's the important thing, right?
100%.
I think that's what people are realizing, at least a part of our population is realizing, hey man, social media, we were bought into the idea it was supposed to make us better and more social,
right? And
it hasn't done that. We certainly see it in the field with people, but even, I've done seminars with a few hundred people, and you say, thank you for coming, and everybody goes to the 4 Winds.
Right.
I'd like people to start continuing to build those relationships. It's one of the reasons this fire-based concept is so important for me. When we were operating in fire bases overseas, I mean, this goes back to like Vietnam era fire bases. Right. You were immersed in the population.
Right.
You had access and placement. You had to facilitate and build relationships. And if you didn't, then you were just the target end of a 107 millimeter rocket, right?
You were a target.
You were a target.
That's it.
So when we start this in Provo, which is, dude, it's happening soon. Like, I mean,
it's about to get wild around here.
It's crazy. We just talked to Greg Lappin, one of our black belt jiu-jitsu professors who is going to run Fieldcraft Jiu-Jitsu in Provo. We're at 6,200 square foot. We had a very good run of a few years in Heber City and affected a lot of people's lives, built a lot of community, responsible citizen courses every Wednesday, courses every weekend. Tim Kennedy, Kyle Lamb, all the personalities came through there and built these relationships. Tony Blauer, the list goes on. Now we're moving into 19,000 square feet,
right,
with Tactical Cowboy Devin and his wife doing physical fitness and physical therapy, cold plunge and hot sauna and jiu-jitsu and education and preparedness training on the back end. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome, because now we get build the community and sustain the relationship,
right,
versus
we're infilling in the middle of a village going, hey guys, let me tell you about what the good news is. See ya. Now it's like VSO, like you're staying there. Village stabilization operations, which was really strategic and important and helping building relationships.
Ultimately, I mean, I would like to see that. So we're essentially starting in the West, and I would like to see it push across the country, giving people a hub to come to for all of that education or, community events, all of those things. Because again, I think that's what's going to fix this. We've got to reconnect. We got to put our phones down, and we have to build community. It doesn't matter how you do it. You don't have to do it through Fieldcraft. Go to church. Find a hobby where you are connected. Where you have to be connected in order to be a part of it. Force yourself into those uncomfortable situations. Kids don't know how to communicate now because they're in their phone. Like, we've forgotten how to talk to each other.
What they say the average time those teenage kids were doing, 3.5 hours. Teenage girls were spending, or teenagers, period, 3.5 hours a day. A third of those surveyed were spending on their phone.
And again, what was the following statistic was the depression and the anxiety and all that stuff.
Like 53% increase in depression and anxiety.
Right.
Insane statistics, but we all know this.
Right.
You don't need the government or a statistician to tell you, hey, these are the stats.
Right.
It's like you could see it, but what are you doing about it? Most people aren't doing anything.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I asked you immediately after that, I was like, do you remember being anxious as a kid? Because I don't. I was anxious about my grades. Yeah, I wanted to perform. I wanted to do well. For me and for my parents, and I wanted to do that. But anxiety, bro, I didn't have anxiety. I didn't even know what anxiety was until I was in the military, and I was like, oh. Yeah. But it can be a performance thing. That's why that's kind of what it was like, and it can be detrimental if you allow it to be as well.
Can you imagine? They talk about the misdiagnosis of ADHD. It's like when we had attention deficit disorder, you got scolded and like put outside. Go burn it off. And now it's like, what do you expect from kids who are staring at a cell phone for 3.5 hours a day?
Summertime, bro. I don't know how looking back from the position now and knowing the things I know now, I would walk out of the door in the morning, be gone in the woods, running in fields, doing.
I feel like my parents were really irresponsible because
they were letting us be kids, man. You know what I mean? They were
but I remember like days going by. It's like,
yeah. Well, I mean,
where you been?
Could be something.
I just went on an adventure,
Yeah, but I mean, our parents had a lot less stuff to worry about too.
That's true. Yeah. The now when you see a kid walking on the road, you're like, that is not right. It's one of the reasons why I moved to Utah.
Here in America, that's not right. But in Japan, 4 and 5-year-olds are walking around because
you in Japan. Where's that coming from?
I watched something about it. I don't know. I didn't read. Reading. What are you talking about? But this thing was talking about kids in Japan. They wear a certain color hat, and the community helps the kids go to where they all support the children.
Yeah.
They support the children because that is the future of the country.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've got people in Hollywood and in Washington's like, well, these kids should make their own choices of should they be boys or girls, or can they have sex at 8 years old? Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
You can't say fucking on the podcast.
Sorry.
There's a piece that I just heard recently where the gal was talking about giving her 5-year-old daughter the option to identify what she saw fit, and that was okay with her. Like she said, whatever she wants to identify, if it's a boy as a girl, she would support that decision as a 5-year-old. And it's like, are the 5-year-olds the parents? Because I don't understand where we're at in this country, where we're making 5-year-olds decide their future at 5. I mean, my boy only cares about trucks and guns. My daughter only cares about dinosaurs and zombies.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You either want to be a T-Rex or a zombie. And it's like,
That's fair.
it's like, why are we doing this to our kids? And the answer is because a lot of adults in this country are broken. Like, there are a lot of people in this country who are freaking lost.
Bro.
And that's sad. I mean, it's sad, but it's like, the solution isn't going, screw those people. The solution is like, we need to educate those people.
Absolutely.
I mean, we need to continue to talk about it and have these debates and have these conversations because, I mean, what are we going to be? Dude, who the hell knows?
Create the venues for conversations.
Yeah.
And don't fall in love with your opinion as the truth. Yeah. Seek the truth.
Yeah. A lot of these guys, there's a lot of guys that I follow, like on Daily Wire, that are doing a lot of these things in open forums. And the demonstration is how deep can your argument go? How many layers can we peel back the onion before your entire ideology becomes unraveled?
Right.
And a lot of it is based in misperceptions, miseducation, misinformation. Like I'm dumbfounded by the Ben Shapiro conversations in universities where just a little bit of Q&A and back and forth, you realize, admittingly, oh, well, that's not what my professor said. It's like, so everything that is your ideology and that you hold true is based on what a human being in a professional university told you that should be your ideology? Like, what? That's the nature of our situation.
The toxic masculinity in me loves watching him nuke people. I love it.
You're toxic masculine.
Yeah. I wish I could maintain patience through some of those conversations, but it's just like,
yeah.
I get emotional. I allow my emotions to take over in those conversations, and it's just like,
yeah,
okay, I got to step back.
I find them real interesting now because what you realize is you don't even have to say anything. All you have to do is ask the pointed question and let them speak.
Right.
And then when they speak, the things that they hold near and dear come unravel, and you realize they don't have a sound argument. And it's coming from a place really of potentially insecurity or miseducation. You're like, but I could tell you a little bit about the situation you're in if you just let me tell you, and then you realize they don't want to hear it. Right? Yeah. It's like,
well, a lot of times they unravel it themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to make the point.
Yeah.
But that's it's victim culture and self-serving, and that's where people are, unfortunately. But you can change that.
Yeah, you could change it.
Be an example.
I think the number one thing that we talk about, we educate on, is this: if you want to make a change, build it in your own family.
Absolutely.
I mean, family units.
Start with yourself, man.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself. I'm gonna say something here. I get a little uncomfortable at your honesty at the end of some of these courses.
Mm-hmm.
You call people out right to their face.
Yeah.
And make it a point, and then they come up and thank you for it. And then we have guys showing up 2-3 years later that have lost weight.
Yeah.
That can shoot well. That stand there and talk to you, look you in the eye with confidence because they've built that inherently through their growth.
It takes a lot of personal courage to
it takes humility.
Up. Yeah.
And then courage, and then the decision to do something about it.
Yeah.
You can get called up and you're like, yeah, I'm a piece of crap. And then you can live in that and be okay with it. But you have a choice. Every single day you have a choice. Yeah. It's another opportunity to improve. I tell people what the course is. I'm like, I try to be as perfect as I can be every single day, and I fail every single day. But when I start anew, when I try again.
Yeah.
And that builds improvement. You're
striving for perfection.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty close. Let's be honest.
That mullet is as close to perfection as I've ever seen.
It's glorious.
Do you use cocoa butter in that? Do you rub it on the ends?
I'm glad you said that. We got to get some shampoo for our downstairs, because you let Mama Bear show up.
Yeah.
And ain't no products down there.
Yeah.
And
you tell me what you want, and we'll have it shipped in.
Actually, I'll just Amazon it to here.
Yeah.
So we have the full, the gamut.
We will do that for you guys. You mean you get a hard water filter to make sure you guys got the soft water?
Tempered temperature. It's the key. Keeps those ends tight.
Have you always had a mullet?
No. This is the longest my hair's ever been. Like I had long hair when I was in, and I always got in trouble for it.
Same.
Oh, bro. Trevor Wilson, Sergeant Major, walks in. We just got back from a trip. We're doing recovery before we went on leave or whatever. It's 10:30 in the morning, and everybody in the team room has Miller High Life, so we're drinking already because we just got back.
Miller
High Life was the team beer.
Oh, wow.
The Champagne of beers.
We'll talk about that video from Miller after this.
Oh, yeah, geez. Yeah, right. Well, that was back before they went all woke. But Trevor walks in and he's like, are you guys drinking already? I'm like, yeah, Roger, Sergeant Major, we're done with everything. You know, we're just hanging out, you know, kind of. He's like, it's 10:30 in the morning. I was like, yeah, Roger, Sergeant Major. We were still kind of on reverse schedule. Like, we had just gotten back, right?
Yeah.
So,
from a rotation?
Technically, it was like after mission time. So, we were just on that schedule or whatever. Anyway, so he goes on a rant, which is pretty rare for Trevor's super laid-back guy. But at the end of the rant, he looks at me and points at me, and he says, and Hildreth, get a haircut. I was like, okay.
Ooh, that was the ice. That was the cherry on top of that.
I think that was what initiated the anger.
He saw you, got frustrated, went off on something that didn't matter.
Yeah, projected his anger on the entire team.
Because of your mullet.
Because of my mullet. Yeah.
Damn, dog.
Yeah.
Miller High Life. So let's talk about Miller real quick before we close this out.
Oh, my God.
Because Miller did a video a couple months ago about, they had this woman walking through and she's talking about beer was first brewed by, I don't know how you could prove that the first beer in the world was brewed by women.
I don't know.
But I assume what they do
Thank you to whoever did it.
Yeah. It was an Egyptologist.
My former self thanks you.
Yeah.
You know?
Thanks for brewing that beer.
Yeah. Good job.
So the men were doing the drinking and they were doing the brewing. Anyways, it's kind of silly that they position that anyways. I only assume they think that Egyptologists have stated that the women did the brunt of the work. And they were doing things like, they used to put the baskets out and then you would get the natural fermentation from the air, which is basically poop in the air. Yeah. I don't know if you know, like poop landed in the baskets and accidentally fermented this drink. And I don't know who the first guy who's like, there's poop in the air and it landed in this water and that water looks poopy, but I'm going to drink it. And then he's like, this is the best poop water I've ever had. However that worked out.
However it shook out.
That's my short history of beer. Miller did a commercial where they're like, well, you know how they thanked us? They did this. And then they showed like a montage of chicks in bikinis.
Amazing beer ads.
Amazing beer ads.
Right.
And Miller is the company, or I think it was Bud Light was the company that did Real Men of Genius.
Was it?
The best marketing campaign on the planet, making fun of dudes like, here, this goes to you, Mr. Stand in 6 inches of water and screech like a. That whole deal is what makes beer great because you don't do anything serious drinking beer.
Yeah.
Right? Most things that happen that are epic are followed by hold my beer and watch this.
Right.
And so why do we have to be so freaking serious and so offended by everything? And so they're like, oh, you know how they did that? They thanked us. They did these rad commercials of you in bikinis.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to be sexist here, but I imagine that if you're an attractive human being and you go to a beach, you don't go in a turtleneck. You go in a bikini. That makes you look more attractive because that's how this whole biological thing works. They are collecting and buying the posters and the old ads and turning them into mulch.
That's the part I want to focus on. They are, and this is going to sound crazy, but it's the divisiveness. They're trying to separate us and keep us separated through any means they can, religiously, racially, sexually. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create as many divides as they possibly can and erase our history and divide the country. Keep us divided in our pockets so we stay concerned about fighting each other as opposed to the real problems. That's what's going on.
That's a real problem for me. That makes me want to go on eBay and buy every. You know, there's some dude printing old posters.
100%.
And he's rolling in it right now.
If he's not, Actually, we should probably get over to
get
the
the
store.
blotter and start.
Yeah, just start making shirts,
Dude,
until we get a cease and desist.
It's amazing that our culture's at this place. You see the Target thing, and Target lost $9 billion. And what I love about this is it's just like the person who's talking and they can't understand their argument out loud, and they realize that their entire ideology is based on lies.
Right.
Let these businesses do these things. Just let them.
Yeah.
And be the silent consumer that makes your decisions and going, I'm just not going to support that. I'm not going to support kids' underwear that provides space to tuck back little boys' balls.
Yeah.
Even saying that out loud hurts.
It's gross, right?
It's gross.
But that's the thing. Like, I was explaining boycotts to my daughter, Annie, who is an amazing human being, mature beyond her years, and is trying to understand this stuff and navigate it. And I explained the boycott process. It's like, we just don't participate. I'm not saying, like, go protest and, let's loot Targets or anything like that.
Choices.
Yeah. Don't spend your money there. Because let me tell you something. When we start hitting pockets, that's when change. So everybody that's boycotting these organizations, continue to do so, please.
Yeah.
Because that'll help stop this.
Yeah, and people don't realize. I think it was I can't remember Rogan, whoever it was looking up the owners. I believe Anheuser-Busch is owned by Bev, which is a company which is a subsidiary of International Partners and mainly owned by the Chinese. I don't know if that's true. I think the last time I checked that and did my research, like the most popular beers on the planet are Chinese manufactured beers. And it's actually not brewed from the fields of farmlands owned by Bill Gates in America. It's actually rice beer. I mean, most beer is brewed through rice. And I think all of Coors Light, Anheuser-Busch is brewed through rice, which is just a shameless Asian plug. But when I say that, it's like you are supporting a Chinese entity anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to support beer companies, go to your local brewery, which has an American brewing beer in the back, and support your local brewery. That's the best way to do it.
And I'm so glad, because we talked about that last night. It's like, that's what they're doing. These large companies are driving people to support local communities. Great.
What should we be doing?
More of that. Yeah. More of that.
I'm glad these corporate
entities
that are mainly owned by foreign entities anyway are showing their ass.
Yeah. That's it, man. We're literally at war. We're in a silent war. And that's our finances that they're trying to harvest from us are our ultimate weapon. We can make some change that way.
Way serious there.
Well, I mean,
I was trying to end this off on a light note, but you're going to war? That's true.
We're running. I should run for public office.
You should run for public office.
Way too many skeletons, dude.
In Kentucky.
That would do it.
The mullet would win you.
Right.
Just have an outline of like a graphic design of your head.
Yeah.
And then it has mullet on the side, and you literally would win.
I like it. We got to get Chad Brown on this, dude.
Who's that?
He's my district representative from Mississippi. Met him at Overland.
Yeah.
So happened.
Yeah.
Got to get him on here.
That'd be fun.
This has probably got to go on Patreon. I don't know if it's going to go.
What?
Because the topics of discussion.
Oh, this one?
It's been a little touchy.
No, it hasn't.
Has it not?
I don't know if this is like
we're gonna
board approved.
The comments are going to get weird.
But that's why they outsource me.
Oh, there you go.
Because they don't like I think that's why they outsourced me to do this, because I could say what I want.
We didn't pull any punches. You can't say F on the podcast.
I didn't say it.
I know. I actually mouthed it silently one time, but I did say it out loud. I was a little emotional. Sorry about that.
I imagine people who listen to this probably are not offended.
Yeah.
Are not too offended.
I don't think they should. And if they are, talk to me about it.
Yeah. Email him.
Yeah. Unweave your own argument.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Well, we got to get to the airport. What time is it right now?
I don't know. My watch is still set on California.
Skin dirty. All right. We're out. Thanks for showing up.
Hey, man. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.
Joining the Black Rifle Coffee Club is setting your coffee delivery to autopilot. As a club member, you get your favorite premium BRCC roast delivered fresh to your doorstep. All you have to do is pick your coffee, select the amount you want, then set the delivery schedule, and you're done. Easy as that. Not only will you get to knock coffee off your grocery list for good, but you also save cash over time since members get free shipping on deliveries. Club members also get exclusive discounts with partner brands like Fieldcraft Survival, Cryptech, Sig Sauer, and more. Join the Black Rifle Coffee Club today. Start saving and enjoy the peace of mind that your coffee has been taken care of.
That concludes today's training. Any questions? Woo! Drum titties, boy!